Now, what do you mean by pollution? Pollution means undesirable changes in physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of air, land, water, or soil. In anything, if undesirable changes, then we say pollution. An agent which bring that is known as pollutant. So Indian government has made Environmental Act in 1986 to protect the quality of air, water, and soil. So please, you do one thing, make all the act here only, please write down. Air Environment Act. Environment Act 1986. Because slowly, whenever years are coming, we'll write there only. Now, if you see air pollution, why we are so much worried about it? Because air is required for our respiration. Air pollutant can cause injury to living organisms. They will reduce the growth and yield of crop also, and they can cause premature death of the plant also. They are affecting our respiratory system for human and other animals. Harmful effect depends upon the concentration, how much concentration is there, for how much duration the person is getting exposed. Now, if you see the smokestack coming of thermal power plants, smelters and other industry, they release two types of air pollutant. One is particulate matter, another is your gaseous air pollutant. Along with them, harmless gases are also coming, that is nitrogen and oxygen. Please focus, nitrogen and oxygen are harmless gases. They can be separated out to make the entire gas harmless only. Now, to remove the particulate matter, we are using electrostatic precipitator. See this diagram. This is the diagram of electrostatic precipitator. See, from here, the dirty air is entering. The moment the dirty air is entering, see, these are small dust particles. So the dust particles are actually getting negatively charged. And see here, they are having the discharge corona outside. So negatively charged wire, and as a result, they get negatively charged. This is the ground plate in which what we are doing, so that these dust particle, after acquiring charge, we will allow it to move very slow so that these particles will fall down. If they have acquired the charge, they will fall down. So this is the collection ground plate. So here what is going on, your electrostatic precipitator helps to remove 99% of particulate matter, which is coming from the exhaust of the thermal power plant. It has electrode wire, which are maintained at several thousand voltage, which will produce a corona that releases electron. Now these electrons, they attach to the dust particles, giving them a net negative charge. So that is why in the diagram they are showing it, negatively charged wire and discharged corona. So they are giving the negative charge to the dust particle. Now collecting plates are grounded to attract the charged dust particle. Now please, this line is important. Velocity of the air between the plate must be slow so that the dust should be fall. Purpose is to make the dust fall. I think so electrostatic precipitator is clear to you. Now if suppose the pollutant is gaseous, then scrubber is used. Scrubber is used to remove gaseous pollutant, example sulfur dioxide. What is going on? Check carefully. This is scrubber diagram. Dirty air is allowed to pass through a mixture which contain water or lime spray. Okay, so here the exhaust is allowed to pass through a spray of water or lime. And as a result, the change will occur, chemical reaction will occur, change will occur, and a gas will come out, which is harmless. Now, CPCB, that is Central Pollution Control Board, have identified if now particulate size was less than 2.5 micrometer is responsible for creating a great harm to the human health. Is it clear? Reason why? Because these so much small particles, they can be inhaled and they will cause breathing and respiratory symptoms, irritation, inflammation, and damage to the lungs, and even premature death also. So we are more worried with the size of the particulate matter. Small size is more harmful. And please learn it, 2.5 micrometer in size and diameter less than this. Please, one there is PM, PM is for diameter and size is 2.5 micrometer. Not only thermal power plants or smelters or other industries are releasing it, sometimes the automobile is also a very important source for air pollution. The automobiles are the major cause for air pollution, especially in the metro cities. And more vehicles are increasing. What we are finding, the pollution is increasing. Proper maintenance of the automobile along with the use of lead-free petrol can only reduce the pollutant which they emit. And main thing is this, if suppose we are trying to use any catalytic converter, so that whatever the exhaust which the engine will release should not contain any harmful gases. Because catalytic converter, what they will do, and when the exhaust pass through them, they will convert unburnt hydrocarbons into carbon dioxide and water, and convert carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide and nitric oxide to nitrogen gas. They will do this. But problem is this, when we are using the catalytic converter in our vehicle, we have to use lead-free petrol. Okay, so motor vehicles which are using catalytic converter, they should use unleaded petrol. Why they should use unleaded petrol? Because reason is catalytic converter are using few important expensive metals. That expensive metals which they use are platinum, palladium, and rhodium. And these metals are working as catalyst. And chances are this, if we use a petrol which contain lead, then these lead can inactivate these catalysts. So automobiles which are releasing the exhaust, obviously they'll release the exhaust. And if we want the exhaust should be free from the gases, harmful gases, then we have to use catalytic converter in our engine. And when we use catalytic converter, because of platinum, palladium, rhodium, which work as a catalyst, we have to use unleaded petrol. So in India, Air Act came into force 1981, which was amended in 1987 to include noise also. So now you do one thing, come and write here in your NCERT, Air Act. Air Act 1981. Again, you write Air Act. In this, noises also include. In 1987. So you will get an idea how the questions, and when all the things are on one page, now it will be easy for you. Now, what do you mean by the noise? Noise means undesirable sound. It is actually an undesirable high level of sound. If suppose a person is exposed to the sound which is more than 150 decibel, it means sound is measured in the unit that is known as decibel. Then the person will get permanent damage to the eardrum also, making the permanent impairing hearing ability. And this much large sound is produced when the jet plane or any rocket takes off. Okay, so noise, actually, see one thing, we have got used to associate loud sound with pleasure or entertainment. I think so. You see, whenever any festivals or any marriages area, birthday parties, so you find the loudspeaker is on the music is on the loud sound. So for pleasure and entertainment, we have got used to it without realizing that noise can cause psychological and physiological disorder in human. Is it clear? And see one thing, noise also causes sleeplessness. Person is not able to sleep. Few people will be badly affected, especially the old people. They will have the increased heartbeat. They will have increased breathing pattern. And as a result, they are stressing the human only. Sometimes what happens, even the chronic exposure to a low noise level in the cities, continuously they are listening that low noise can cause permanently damage to the hearing abilities. So once they have identified that noise is a problem, okay, they have many dangerous effects of noise pollution has been identified. So what they are doing it, they are trying to reduce the noise in our industries by using the sound absorbent material or by using the we say muffling noise. Noise not continuously, in the breaking it is coming. We say muffling noise. Second, government has laid down the few laws and all by giving the permission for how much level of the sound level should be there of crackers and how much level of the loudspeakers and the timing after which loudspeaker should not be played. And few things what we have done, we have made as a horn-free zone only. There you can't put a horn. Obviously, the laws are made for this also, especially around hospital and schools. So these are the areas we are trying to implement just to make our self-protection only, so that people should not have any other problem. Now, if you see, with the increasing in the population, especially the vehicle automobile, we are finding Delhi, which is the capital of India, it is actually having more car than the state of West Bengal and Gujarat put together. And in 1990, Delhi was fourth among the 41 most polluted city of the world. So Delhi ranking is fourth. And really it is true in the Delhi, the children are, the small children also, they feel asthmatic problem. So air pollution in the Delhi became so serious that the few people only raised the concern. We say public interest litigation was filed in the Supreme Court. And government was asked, after this, what has happened? Then obviously the Supreme Court realized and they asked the government. So after being censored very strongly by the Supreme Court under its directive, government was asked to, within a specific period of time, to take a measure. What measure they have to take? To switch the entire public transport to CNG. Instead of using diesel buses, they have to use CNG bus. Why? What is the reason? Reason is CNG will burn completely. See here, what is the reason they are telling us? CNG will burn more effectively. Okay, and very little will be left unburnt. CNG is cheaper. It cannot be siphoned off. It cannot be adulterated by like petrol or diesels. So they suggested it and they told it should be achieved by 2002. The entire public transport from diesel should be switched to CNG. A question come in the mind, ki, okay, fine, CNG is better and everything we gave this. Now main problem came to the government, Delhi government was to lay down the CNG pipe. Main problem was to lay down the CNG pipe. And they have to provide the supply uninterruptedly. So it was a big challenge for that time. And in the meantime, the Delhi government was taking a step to reduce the pollution because of the vehicle by removing the old vehicle. The vehicles which are more than 10 years, they are not allowed to sold out. Obviously, that vehicle will be waste only. The people will keep on changing. So as we can, purposes so that the new vehicle will come and with new stringent norms and everything, the engine will be well equipped. And as a result, pollution can be controlled. So phasing out old vehicle, okay, then use of unleaded petrol, use of low sulfur petrol in diesel, use of catalytic converter in the vehicle, and few pollution norms are also there. That is why if you see at every petrol station, generally the pollution checking, that is also their certificate. They will check it, the exhaust which is releasing, how much pollution it is creating. Government of India has made auto fuel policy, okay, to reduce the pollution in Indian cities. And their target was to reduce the sulfur and aromatic content in petrol and diesel. The Euro 3 norm, according to Euro 3 norm, sulfur can be controlled to 350 parts per million in diesel and 150 ppm in petrol. Okay, aromatic hydrocarbons can be controlled to 42%. Now, goal was to reduce sulfur by 50 in petrol and diesel and finally bring it to 35%, means reduce it to 35%. This much parts per million and this much percentage. So Bharat Stage 2, which is equivalent to Euro 2 norm, are now no more applicable in these cities. So please learn this also. Right now, Bharat stage 4 is working, and their target is everywhere. They have to, all the vehicles which are running on the road, they should follow the Bharat stage 4 by 2017. And now, if you see, air quality of Delhi has improved. There is fall in the carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide level in the Delhi between this area. So I think so air pollution is completed. Now see water. You know very well that we are not using, we are saying that human being has been abusing water bodies by disposing whatever type of waste we are trying to think. We believe that water can wash away everything without realizing that water bodies are our lifeline. Okay, so by observing so many things people are discarding, so water prevention and this thing, Water Act is made in 1974 to safeguard our water resources. So you do one thing, come here again and write down Water Act. Which year, beta? 1974. The Water Act 1974. So till now you are getting the Act was first made. Later on, Air Act was made. And after that, Environmental Act to protect both air, water, and what is there, beta? Air, water, and soil. This is the way, if you will remember, I think it will be easy for you to learn everything. Now, if you see in this diagram, 99.9% water, only impurities 0.1%. Only 0.1% impurity is making water unfit for the drinking. A mere 0.1% impurities make domestic sewage unfit for human use. In this, if you see, fecal matter comes in the colloidal. Cloth, paper, fiber, please learn. This is the way they are asking the question. See, beta, you can click suspended solid, you can click the dissolved material, but what are coming in the colloidal, please learn it. So we use water in our house, in the cities, everywhere to wash everything into the drains only. And finally it is going, sometimes what happens is going to the sewage treatment plant for processing, and sometimes without any treatment, they are discarded into the water bodies. Now, if you see the solids, if it is present in the impurities, they are very easy to remove. What is difficult to remove are your dissolved salts like nitrate, phosphate, or some other nutrients, and toxic metal ions, organic compounds. These are very much difficult to remove. Now, domestic sewage, which is coming from the house, generally contain biodegradable organic matter. So that is, thank God, it is decomposed by the bacteria and other microorganisms. There we are able to do it. Is it clear? So which easily decomposed by the bacteria or other microorganisms, we can multiply using this organic substance. These bacteria and all will increase their number by using this organic matter as a substrate. Now we can calculate also how much amount of biodegradable organic matter is present in the sewage by measuring the BOD. Is it clear? Once the BOD is high, it means biodegradable matter is high. As a result, what is going on right now? The water is not having dissolved oxygen availability. You see the diagram carefully. This is the point where the sewage is discarded. The moment the sewage is discarded, see carefully, BOD, this is blue color beta. See this blue color. That point, the BOD is high. Means biodegradable organic matter is also high. BOD full form is biochemical oxygen demand. Is it clear? Biochemical oxygen demand. So they are telling it, read the line carefully. You can estimate the amount of biodegradable organic matter by measuring biochemical oxygen demand. So obviously where the BOD is high, it means amount of biodegradable matter is also high. It means microorganisms and bacteria population is also high there only. And at that point, DO is very, very low. Dissolved oxygen availability is very low. Check beta, this point DO is very low. Slowly what happened when the flow, the flow is going on, the organic matter is degraded by the microbes or by bacteria or fungus, then slowly BOD decrease and DO increase. The moment, the point where the sewage is discarded, because the organic matter is very high, microorganisms are busy in the work. So as a result, fish are getting killed and disappearance of clean water organisms is going on. But when the DO increase, these clean water organisms again reappear. So microorganisms involved in the biodegradation of organic matter in the receiving water body consume a lot of oxygen. As a result, there is sharp decline in the dissolved oxygen, and this causes mortality of fish and other aquatic organisms. So with respect to the biodegradable matter coming from the domestic sewage, these are the problems in the aquatic water bodies. Now, if suppose the nutrient which is used by as a fertilizer, now how they create a problem. Presence of large amount of nutrient in the water causes the excess growth of the algae, and this is known as algal bloom. Now, which especially nutrient, beta, which nutrient is more problematic, especially your nitrate and phosphate? Because see here, we studied dissolved salts like nitrate and phosphates. They are the one which are actually used during the fertilizer, which is meeting the groundwater table if it is not absorbed by the plant, and finally meeting with the main water bodies, and they are responsible for the algal bloom. And because of the algal bloom, you can see in the diagram here, you see greenish, this this distinct color is given to the water bodies. They deteriorate the quality of water, and as a result, fish mortality increases. And some blooms, algal blooms, they are toxic to human beings also. I think so. You must have heard about in the biological classification, the Gonalex. Gonalex is the one which is releasing the toxin. So algal bloom is not only made by the cyanobacteria, it can be made by the planktonic, means free-floating algae. And free-floating algae can be your diatoms, your dinoflagellates. So in that case, your dinoflagellate, that is the one which is creating the problem not only to the fishes, sometimes to the human beings and other animals also. Now, I think so. Another problem with the water bodies, you have studied in the reproduction in organisms. One plant which was introduced in India because of its twisted shaped leaves and flower, that was Acornia. So Acornia, which is also known as water hyacinth, is the world's most problematic aquatic weed. And if you see this, it is having which type of flower? Mauve colored flower. And very appealing shape they are having it. And you can see them in the water bodies. They were introduced in India for their lovely flower. And later on, what we are finding, they are growing like a problematic for us. They caused havoc by their excessive growth, and which is blocking the water bodies. And why the excessive growth they show? Because they reproduce by offset method, which you have already studied in the reproduction in organism chapter. And they grow faster. They grow faster than their ability to remove them. Before we can remove, they are only reproducing faster. And that is why Acornia, which is also known as water hyacinth, it was known as terror of Bengal. And they grow abundantly in eutrophic water bodies, which are rich in the nutrient and led to the imbalance in the ecosystem. Now, if suppose the sewage is coming from the hospitals, if the sewage come from the hospital, chances of some pathogens can also be there. Undesirable pathogen might be present. And if suppose that sewage from the hospital is not treated properly and before treatment is discarded, it can bring the outbreak of serious disease like cholera, jaundice, typhoid, and dysentery. Now, if suppose the wastewater is coming from the industries, if wastewater come from industries like petroleum, paper manufacture, or metal, they may contain toxic substance and especially heavy metals like your mercury, cadmium, copper, lead, all these things, and few organic compound. Now, toxic effect of the cadmium, it is Itai disease. Please make a note, Itai disease. For the mercury, it is Minamata disease. Okay, Minamata disease. So they are having the heavy metals, and their heavy metals are size is only with the density this much. So with this much size, density, this much density only creating a problem. Now, sometimes what happens, see, a few toxic substances often present in the industrial wastewater can undergo biological magnification. Now, next concept with respect to the water, we have to study biological magnification. Biological magnification means, it means increase in the concentration of the toxicant at the tropic level. Now, why this problem is coming? Because toxic substances are lipid soluble. This happens because a toxic substance, because it is lipid soluble, it is accumulated in the organism and it is entering inside the cell, and it is not, the cell is not able to metabolize or excrete out. And as a result, from lower tropic level, it passed on to the higher tropic level. See on the side diagram, water which contain density only 0.003 parts per billion, it becomes as a 0.04 in zooplankton as parts per million only. Small fishes 0.5, and see the large fishes are 2 parts per million, and fish eating birds, see chemical concentration, it is increasing its level at the successive tropic level. When you move from lower to high tropic level, you're finding the amount of that chemical is increasing. Okay, biomagnification is going on. And we identified it when the fish-eating bird population decreases. Now, problem is why? Because when the concentration of DDT was very high, it disturbs the calcium metabolism. And as a result, they were not able to make a proper eggshell. So eggshell was very thin. And this eggshell, which was very thin, it breaks earlier only, premature breaking. And as a result, their population start decreasing. So I think so biomagnification concept is clear to you. Now, eutrophication. What do you mean by the word eutrophication? Means natural aging of lake. Natural aging of lake. And it is process is occurring because of the nutrient enrichment. Because of too much organic matter is there, phosphate, sulfate, nitrate is there, algal bloom is there. And slowly, phytoplanktons, then submerged plant means it will take a time. And finally, what we'll find, the lake, which was supposed whatever depthness it was there, because of the deposition of these, slowly lake is becoming shallow, and after some time we are not finding any lake there, only the terrestrial area. So in the young lake, water is cold and it is clear, very little life is there. But slowly what happened, streams are draining into the lake, introduce nutrient. Which nutrient? Nitrogen and phosphorus. So as a result, other organism growth start flourishing. So lake fertility increases, plants and animal life also start coming here. And when they are dying, the organic remains become deposited at the lake bottom. So over a centuries, finally organic debris will pile up, and the lake slowly from shallow, it will become, from the deep it will become to shallow, and from cool it will become warm. With more water, warm water organisms will start coming. Okay, and finally marshy areas will be made. Marshy areas means they will be rooted in the shallow and try to fill the original lake. And finally, what we are finding, lake gave way to the large masses of floating plants, known as bog, and finally converting into land. This is we studied as a succession also. That is a natural process going on. Now, depending on the climate, size of lake, and other factors, natural aging may take sometimes few years to thousands of years also. But because of the increasing in pollutant, and pollutant because from the man-made activities, just like we are pouring the effluent from industries or from house, this process has accelerated. And because this process is accelerated, we use the term accelerated eutrophication or cultural eutrophication. Lakes in many parts of the earth have been eutrophied by sewage, agricultural or industrial waste, and main contaminant, prime contaminant is nitrate and phosphate, which are plant nutrient. Because I told you previously, right now only at the previous page, because of the enrichment of the nutrient, which nutrient? Nitrate and phosphate, because they promote the growth of algae. And as a result, obviously, it is unsightly scum, unpleasant odor, dissolved oxygen is going away, the aquatic life is affected, other pollutants are coming, making the lake into poison. Obviously, fish mortality is decreasing, fish mortality increasing, and dissolved water oxygen content is also decreasing. And finally, we say the lake is choked to the death. Means we are not finding any lake, we are finding only the terrestrial land. Now, if suppose next case, if wastewater coming from thermal power plants which are used, where the electricity generating is going on, like a thermal power plant, what is going on? They are pouring the hot water directly. And this thermal wastewater eliminates the number of organisms which are sensitive to high temperature. Is it clear? And may increase the growth of the plant and fishes in an extreme cold areas. Now they are moving to the cold areas, and they are then causing the damage to the local flora and fauna. So till now what we studied, 0.1% impurities is making water unfit for drinking. Now nutrients are making the problem of algal bloom. Okay, then we studied the domestic sewage is actually treated is done, but for that biological oxygen demand is high that time where the sewage is discarded. Slowly, when the BOD decreases, then only DO can increase. Clear, but then we studied, if suppose the pollution is coming from the hospital, it may contain pathogen. If the pollution is coming from industry, it may contain heavy metals. And some chemicals are not able to be metabolized or excreted, so it goes for biomagnification. And we studied naturally aging of the lake happen, but right now the aging of the lake has been accelerated because of the human activities. And next we studied if suppose wastewater coming from thermal power plant, and what's the problem. So by studying all this, we have identified the main problem is, suppose if we can treat the sewage, then I think so we can control our water bodies too much. The wastewater, including sewage, can be treated in an integrated manner. We are using two processes, artificial and natural, and for this, the efforts were taken by the people who are living in the Arcata town, which is situated in the north coast of California. What these people have done, they have done the collaboration with the biologists from the Humboldt State University. And they have created an integrated wastewater treatment process, and they prepared nearly 6 marshy areas in a 60 hectare. Okay, 60 hectare they have done it. And what they are doing it, first of all, they are cleaning the sewage in two processes. The cleaning will be done in the two stages. First is conventional sedimentation, filtration, and chlorination will be given. Sedimentation will help to remove the solid particles. Okay. After that, you will filter, and chlorination will help to remove any waterborne pathogens are there. But still organic matter has not been removed. After this, lot of dangerous pollutant like dissolved heavy metals still remain. Organic matter, dissolved heavy metals are there. For this, what they have done, now you see carefully, biologists of the Humboldt State University have made 6 marshy areas in 60 hectare, and they are in series in which they have done the plantation of appropriate plants. They are keeping it. Algae, fungus, and bacteria are kept here, so that after the first treatment, when the water passed through the second stage, means in this marshy areas, so these algae, plants, bacteria all will neutralize, absorb, and assimilate the pollutant, And as a result, when water will come out from it, it is getting purified naturally. The first step is artificial. Second step is natural method. That is why we say it is an integrated process in which they are doing the artificial and in natural process, they are using it. Now, if you see, marshy is also a sanctuary-like with high level of biodiversity, fishes and animals, birds. A group of the organization means few groups of the people are taking care of these marshy areas, and they call themselves as a friend of Arcata Marsh, means foam. So their work is to take care, to protect this project. So if you see what is sewage, you have understood here, sewage is nothing, is a municipal wastewater. And generally, if you see, it is a human excreta. The question is asked, can you imagine the amount of water one can save if we don't flush the toilet? Can it happen in reality? Yes, it happened in reality also. EcoSan toilets are the one sustainable system for handling human excreta by using dry compositing toilets. And this is practical, hygienic, and efficient and cost effective. Is it clear? The key point to note here is that with this compositing method, human excreta can be recycled as a natural fertilizer, and thus we can reduce our dependency on chemical fertilizer. And eco-sand toilets are more practiced in they are generally in the Kerala and Sri Lanka. So I think so we have covered water pollution also. So up till here, I think the topic is clear to you. Now we can close it.